Here I am again, here we are again for our Baby Tree to the Bull campaign. And one of the slight objections to what we're proposing is that Toddler's Cove, this play area here, is too close to the ring road and would be a danger to children. But we don't think that that's a very big objection, because actually if you look at the gap here and the proximity to the river here, the play area at Toddler's Cove is far closer to the river than it is to the ring road. So the danger in the play area is mainly from the river and not from the proposed ramp and steps from the Reamsway ring road down into Toddler's Cove. That seems very straightforward to us. What you would do in a situation like this is, of course, a risk assessment. So you take Toddler's Cove and parents playing with their children, and you'd identify the hazards that children would face in this particular context. And the main hazard, as we see it, is gaps in the fence and the fact that the river has got no fencing at all. Whereas the distance between the play area and the ring road is far, far further, and it would be a very enterprising toddler who would make it all that way unassisted to maybe clamber up the steps and get on the ring road. We were very glad of Mr. Dan's response to our initial video cast, and we felt that there were very many positive aspects to what he said. But he mentioned Strava data for this route into the city. Strava data showing that cyclists, particularly out of town cyclists, like this route, and it went straight down Queen's Avenue into the city. But of course, Strava data would show exactly this, because this is where the signposts are. So people not familiar with the city will naturally follow the signpost and therefore generate the Strava data. But if you look at this route, it's actually not very pleasant. You can see all the cars lined up down there, and if you're a regular user like me, you find yourself stopping to give way to cars coming in the other direction. In addition to that, at the very bottom of that route, there are two rather unpleasant junctions, and car drivers have a habit of going around those junctions quite fast. And so it's not that safe, even if it's not that well used. We just wanted to point out the contrast between this wonderful leaf arbour, which is even more beautiful in the summer, compared with the rather unpleasant car-dominated Queen's Avenue. This is so much nicer to walk and cycle down, and a much better route for cyclists coming through the city. Here we are back at the Baby Tree, and we'd just like to remind you of how the contrast between that leafy arbour that we've just seen and the dangerous, busy and polluted route we're just about to move on to. You can see how busy, polluted and dangerous this route is, and you can see also how poorly maintained the pathway is. We can do so much better than this. Look, the path is still here, worn way down. And the railings are still here to stop the school children from taking a shortcut. We can do better than this. Here we are back at Toddler's Cove, responding again to Mr. Dan, who actually we're very grateful for his measured response to our first video. Mr. Dan mentions that he'd be worried about a blind spot being created if there was a ramp and steps down into Toddler's Cove here. But actually that wouldn't necessarily be the case, because what we'd envisage is an asphalted pathway that would lead in a nice wide sweep into this path and take everyone down, straight down to Chartham or Winchig or wherever they want to go in the south part of the city. So we wouldn't be thinking of a blind spot by the Rimsway Ring Road. We'd be thinking of a nice sweep of pathway to join the current pathway very naturally. Here we are back at the Bull. We may not have addressed all Mr. Dan's points in his response to our first video cast, but I think we've addressed most of them. But essentially, as well as a big improvement for walkers, cyclists and school children from the London Road Estate and the Canterbury Academy to this side of the city, this project that we're advocating is backed by both councillors, KCC councillor Mel Dawkins and City councillor Pip Hazelton, and we think it's also a matter of democracy. We've identified this small improvement that could make a massive adjustment, and we really hope that it will be added to the walking and cycling implementation.